A thread by Carlos Osuida. This ties into the screaming accusations my communist brother made that Donald Trump is the most corrupt world leader in human history. Let's get into that. Lieutenant Colonel Prissy Lips is resigning. Exclusive from CNN.com, Vindman to retire from the military. His lawyer blames the White House, and who cares? His lawyer says that the White House ruined his career, so the poor guy has no choice but to join the pantheon of sanctified victims and move on to a wildly lucrative job in academia and/or the private sector. I simply could not understand what Prissy Lips was saying. It was a cargo cult version of procedure that relied on Vindman deciding unilaterally that it's improper for the president to express concern when it comes to concerns about corruption involving Democrats. And since nobody knows how anything works, they don't know this: how the Army officer who testified against Trump, blah, 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 militarytimes.com, quote, when Lieutenant Colonel Alexander Vindman appeared before members of Congress on Tuesday to discuss what he knew about President Trump's conversations with Ukraine's president, he was violating an order from his commander-in-chief not to cooperate with the House's impeachment inquiry. End quote. If Trump wanted to retaliate against Vindman, then Prissy Lips would be in the brig. Instead, Prissy Lips now becomes another rich and famous victim of what John Bolton calls Trump's unprecedented corruption. So, what about this corruption? How do politicians get rich in Washington? 1. Insider trading. 2. Earmarks. 3. Donations. Congress writes the laws. So Congress made sure that its members don't have to disclose their assets. Keep in mind, we're talking about net worth, which means holdings. They don't have Scrooge McDuck vaults of cash. Insider trading means they get tips on what to buy and sell. Earmarks is money appropriated for projects. From Business Insider.com. For years, Pelosi has pushed for federal transportation earmarks to build and extend a light rail project in her affluent San Francisco district, securing more than $890 million for the project between 2004 and 2011. Interestingly, Pelosi and her husband own an office building valued between $1 million and $5 million. Located at a prime distance from one of the planned light rail stops. If the project is completed, the Pelosi's could see the property value increase by as much as 150%. And donations? Politicians usually keep their war chests. So how is Trump corrupt? Well, Trump is slashing federal regulations. In the past century or so, regulations have become the means for Washington to extort from the private sector. They also give lobbyists massive power. Politicians use regulations to choose winners and to write regulations favorable to the people who give them the most money. Lobbyists also work to get earmarks that benefit both the lobbyist's client and politicians. Trump is getting rid of all of this. Where the hell does the corruption come in? Obama poured money into green companies designed to fail, and then the CEOs, his donors, walked away with billions of our money. Speaking of corruption, Hillary Clinton charged admission fees as Secretary of State. Donate to the Clinton Foundation and she'll talk to you. So again, how is Trump the most corrupt, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera? When I asked my communist brother, he was silent for 10 full seconds and then changed the subject. Trump is dismantling the administrative state, as Steve Bannon said, decentralizing the federal government. He is anti-corrupt. And don't tell me about his businesses. Do you know what Mohammed bin Salman has to do when he travels? He has to rent out entire hotels. The entire staff is replaced with Saudi security. They install bulletproof windows. That is how much danger he's in. His visits create massive disruption. Trump is a multi-billionaire. You think he's rubbing his hands together over $20 million here and 750 grand there? Trump is eliminating the means of political corruption. How does that make him corrupt? And any grown man who uses the term bullying is unfit for the armed forces. Look at his lips. We're all supposed to forget that Trump was impeached for non-crimes. What about that corruption? Do you think a total subversion of the rule of law in Washington might be a tad more serious than prissy lips running weeping into a giant pile of money? Trump has the authority to do craploads of things that he chooses not to do. He's letting the Democrats destroy themselves, and the self-destruction is picking up speed. From Breitbart.com. Far-left squad members, Reps Rashida Tlaib and Ayanna Pressley, partnered with the coalition Movement for Black Lives in promoting a bill filled with radical proposals, including defunding the police, abolishing ICE, eliminating state gang databases, establishing a commission to design reparations, and developing curriculums that, quote, examine the political, economic, and social impacts of colonialism, genocide against indigenous people, and slavery. The squad is worth its weight in gold, 2 tons of pure gold. This is an all-out extermination campaign against Black Americans. No police, no arrests, no anti-gang protection, monetary rewards for prostitution, and illegals to take jobs. This should terrify every single Black American. Quote, Tlaib described the measure as ushering in a new version for public safety, a new vision for public safety, one that protects and affirms Black lives. Well, Rashida Tlaib, I myself got a preview of your new vision for public safety. The cops stopped arresting a homeless woman who kept trying to kick down my back door. Guess what happened? She brought a male friend, they ambushed me, and I ended up in a fight for my life. I know the gun laws in California inside and out. Therefore, I was reduced to using chunks of concrete. If the cops had been allowed to protect me, those two would not have ended up in the shape they were in when they left. Here's what I tell people over and over. If you have the stomach for it, watch YouTube videos of what people do in third world countries when they catch criminals. I was born and raised in a third world country. Criminals did not survive being caught by citizens. California was once part of the United States. A 58-year-old man with severe osteoarthritis should not be forced to fight like a caveman on his own property. Why should I pay my taxes if it's the law of the jungle? So I say to Black Americans, be angry, but not at Trump. Be angry at the political party that now is trying desperately to make you fight for your lives with chunks of concrete. And the hell of it is, you can't even scare people away. That's why I had to silently use concrete. It was a counter ambush, over in seconds. No arguing, no warning, just a super fast, super violent counter ambush. Why should I have to do that? Where's the morality? These people are crazy. And now look at them. If the violent, mentally ill homeless were taken care of, people wouldn't have to fight them off with chunks of concrete. Are you following me, squad? Leftism brutalizes both the tax-paying citizen and the criminal. Black Americans, the squad wants you dead. I want you alive and safe and happy. You are our family. I trust you to do the right thing in November.